G'day guys, Shawnee from Life and Tennis. Well, that's it. Our season is over. In today's video, I'll be discussing our finals round last week, our first round of finals, in which we unfortunately went down to Vermont South. So yeah, we were all primed, my team, Burwood Tennis Club, for a great day against the top team in our section, and really probably one of the favourites to take out grade 4 Pennant, the club competition that I play here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. But we knew we had our work cut out for us, but we had a plan. So team captain Tim Shackleton made the decision to mix up the order, particularly in the singles. So our number 4 player, Max, we decided to play at number 1, just so it would give our number 1, 2, and 3 players a chance to play down the order, which would give us a better chance of them winning their matches. Because yeah, Vermont South from 1 to 4 are all very, very strong. They all have very similar UTRs. So I think their highest player currently has a UTR of 9.3, and their lowest player, I believe, is high 8, so 8.8 or something around that mark. So yeah, all within like 0.5 UTR points, which is quite amazing. Like that's very, very strong for a grade 4 team particularly. So yeah, we knew we had our work cut out for us, but we just decided to flip the order. Well, flip the bottom player to play number 1 and have our number 1, 2, and 3 players playing at 2, 3, and 4. So that was the initial decision. And as for the doubles, we just ran with a similar lineup to what we've been going with most weeks, which is our number 1 and 2 doubles player, Tim and Indy, and then myself and Rick as the number 2 doubles pair. So we thought this would give us a chance. Look, unfortunately, we lost the day 3 rubbers to 2. With the 6th rubber, we basically didn't finish because we couldn't possibly have won. We were basically around 20 games down at this point. So even if we'd won it, it would have been even on rubbers, 3 rubbers all, or 3 matches all, but we would have lost on games or sets potentially. So yeah, but it ended up being a lot closer than what we thought originally. So I think it was actually a great call. We just unfortunately couldn't win the matches that we wanted to. So I'll get into my match. I was playing doubles only this week, and yeah, play with Rick, who is the guy I've been playing with, one of my best mates who I've been playing doubles with for years and years and years. He's my main hitting partner. And yeah, we had a really tough loss, 6-1, 6-2 down against the strongest doubles pair we played all season by a long stretch. It's not even close. But having said that, 6-1, 6-2 sounds very one-sided, but I mean, this is probably something that a lot of tennis players will say when they lose, convincingly like that. We were in just about every game. I would say 60-70% of those games were either juice games or at least like a 40-30 or 30-40. So we had so many close games, but we just couldn't quite either get the break point or game point opportunities, or when we got them, we didn't convert them. So a bit of a shame. We started off slow start. I think we were 4-1 down pretty quickly. I got broken on my serve. Well, we served first and I got broken first game, which wasn't great. Took me a while to find my feet, probably 2 or 3 games. And then I found I started to get a bit of a rhythm. I was returning better, serving better, hitting volleys better. But yeah, they were very strong. And probably the main difference really was serve and their net game. So they had probably stronger serves than us, arguably. And their net game was just elite. So one of their players in particular, Will, was just impossible to get it past him at the net. Even with a good cross-court return, he was just all over it, was poaching everything. Which did mean a couple of times we did try going for the down-the-line return, but maybe we didn't do it enough. I tried it once on my forehand and I won the point on it, but then after that I kind of went back to cross-court hitting, which favoured him. And unless I could really get it away from him, he was either crossing for it or we hit an error because we were trying to overcompensate, which was just the pressure that they were putting on. So they were very strong at the net. Both of them were. And their serves were very, very solid, very hard to get a decent return, especially when they were targeting our backhands. We're both single-handed backhands. We both like our backhands, but in a doubles sense, it's very hard to keep the ball away from the net player when the opponent is targeting that backhand side and you can't get enough on the return. Especially when you've got a player as good as Will at the net. And even their other player, Sean, was another Sean as well. He was a very strong, he's a very, very strong player in general. So yeah, very, very tough loss. As I said, we had a lot of opportunities. First set, 6-1 down. Second set, we were actually 4-2 at one point. We had to break points on my return. So I actually got a forehand at 30-40 and I missed it completely. I think I hit it out, and that was really an opportunity to, like, if I'd really nailed it, potentially I could have gone down the line in that one, because I think Will was looking to cross at that point. We could have won that game, which would have made it 4-3 back on serve, and if I'd held, it would have been 4-all. It would have been game on again. And like I said, there's so many moments during the season I can think of where this has happened, but unfortunately just couldn't quite take that chance, and we didn't get another chance to break. And then in the end, I was, instead of being 4-3 serving, back on serve, we were 5-2 down, staring down the barrel. And that game was another juice game. I think we had we might have had a game point, or we faced a few break points or match points and we saved them. But then in the end, the second or third match point, just in the end, we couldn't, I think they had a winner pass us down the middle, and that was the end of the match. So yeah, tough pill to swallow, because like I said, I feel like the scoreline doesn't justify how well we played and how many opportunities we created for ourselves. But at the same time, there were definitely room for improvements. I'll start with the fact that, I think I just took for me personally, I took a little bit too long to get my way into the match. And maybe I was trying to do too much, knowing that they were a very strong team. But at the same time, you had to hit everything with a certain level of intensity. You couldn't just go easy on returns, because as I said, they were just all over the net. So we really had to take it to them. So maybe it took me just a little bit too long to, get my rhythm. And when I say that, I don't mean that. There's obviously natural match nerves that go into the start of a match particularly, but I think it was more the fact that I was hesitating a little bit in particularly my ground strokes at the start. But then, like I said, I did warm my way into the match, but maybe at the start I should have just had a certain intensity and then just stuck with that, because the shots that I was missing was more because I was hesitating, because I didn't know whether I should rip it, just sort of guide the ball back, hit with spin, come into the net, all the rest of it. So there was a little bit of hesitation early on, which did cost us. Probably the other room for improvement, maybe I would say, would be, it was very windy on one side. Well, it was very blustery in general, but there was one side where I found that when we had the wind against us, we didn't adjust well enough to move forwards through our shots, because what I found is we'd come in and say hit a approach volley, but we missed a few balls right into the tape, right into the top of the net, and it didn't go our way. Unfortunately, the ball didn't roll over the net, came back out on our side, and I think a lot of that was to do with the fact that you could say it was bad luck, and I did make some complaints out loud, just letting my frustration out, which was very verbal, I've got to say. But in the end, I would say it was more because it was static movement rather than like actively moving forwards to compensate for that extra little bit of wind that was blowing against us. So that was the tricky aspect of the day. But yeah, they're probably the two main room for improvements. As I said, look, we could have converted some of our opportunities, but that's neither here nor there. I think those are just natural errors you're going to make from time to time. Sometimes you play teams like that and they just won't give you a second shot. Their first service game, Sean, who was serving, had 3 double faults, and we still weren't able to break him. So normally if someone would serve 3 double faults, you'd think that gives you a great opportunity to break, but we couldn't convert that, so didn't capitalize on that. So that's our own fault there. But again, probably not too much to say that we could have done differently other than just make those shots. But hard to know what to do other than just get the shot in. But as I said, the two room for improvements probably would be to have a certain level of intensity to start the match and not hesitate. And the second aspect would be to adjust your footwork a bit better, given the wind was playing havoc throughout the match. We definitely took it to them, and we at least kept most of the games pretty close, and we were very aggressive, especially on returns. And we were coming into the net as much as possible because we knew that was the only way we were going to beat them. We're not going to beat them at the baseline. So yeah, I would say the positives overall was the intent of our strategy overall and our play against a very, very strong team. So yeah, look, there are positives. Unfortunately, that loss 1 and 2 didn't help us in our game differential, because in the end, we won the other doubles match, which was good, but we were probably down, say, 4 or 5 games initially, which put us back behind the 8 ball for the rest of the matches. And one of our players won his singles match, and there was another 3-set loss, a really tight 3-set loss, which if he'd won that match, we would have been 3-2 up, which would have meant the last singles rubber would have been live, because our number 1 player, or the number 4 player that was playing at number 1, ended up losing 1 and 2 like we did in our doubles. So look, that was always going to be a tough ask for him, but the other matches were all winnable, and as I said, our number 4 player won his match, but our number 3 player lost in 3. So if they'd both won, then yeah, that last match would have been live, and if we'd won it, we would have won the day, and that would have been an epic result given this team, like I said, they're probably favourites to take out grade 4 Pennant. So yeah, look, great season overall, and you know, we were so close to upsetting the top team. So in the end, lots of positives. We've got a bit unlucky with injury during the season, with our top player getting injured sort of halfway through the season. So we weren't able to maybe get some results that we needed to. It would have been tough even if we had him there, but if we'd had him in the team, it would have given us a great opportunity to, probably a better opportunity to win, essentially. So look, that's another season, Pennant season done. I'll be taking a break from competition tennis for the rest of the year. So normally I play summer comp. I play a competition called in the Waverley district here. And this time around, I'm going to give that a miss and take a bit of a break from tennis until next season's Pennant, or next year's Pennant season, which starts in, I guess, April or May. So yeah, just looking forward to having my weekends back, I guess, and yeah, maybe focusing on other things other than just tennis. But yeah, we'll definitely still keep hitting during the week. Maybe I'll try to get a hit on the weekend as well. But yeah, as I said, lots of positives from this season, and I feel like I've grown as a player, particularly in doubles and even in singles, although I didn't get a chance to maybe prove that, given I only played 4 or 5 singles matches for the season out of a possible 16 matches, or 15 matches, sorry, that yeah, it didn't really give me a chance to build any form in singles. But in doubles, I really feel like I improved, and I learnt a lot from my tennis and got a little bit better with my my volleying game, and just getting better at coming into the net, like approach shots as well, being smarter on when to approach, and even on the serve, like knowing how to serve to get an easier, like say, approach volley or approach shot to come into the net. So definitely lots of positives for this season. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. As always keen to hear about how your seasons are going, whether it's club competitions that you're playing, or even tournaments that you've been featuring in over the weekend. Comment below, and as always, like and subscribe for more life and tennis related content. Cheers, guys.